For me as a new agent, for me as a smaller agent, I would be looking this as a feeding frenzy.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Annuity Fundamentals. I am your host, Kylie Malat, joined with our co-host, Ryan Anderson. Today we have a very special guest, super excited to have Michael Beam in the house. He is a pillar in his industry, really. He's been working with Aetna and now he's moved on to a different IMO, so he will have some good advice on how to put more money in your pocket. So we're excited to have you. Thank you so much, Michael, for joining us.
Thank you, Kylie. I appreciate the opportunity and looking forward to this.
All right, fantastic. Thank you, Michael. Now, I've known you for about 10 years now. We worked for similar companies, are never at the same time, but our paths have kind of crossed off and on over the last little while. And so you were with Aetna and you were with United Healthcare a little while, and you were running those areas for them, but you kind of left the insurance agency or insurance company realm, and now you're working with an FMO, Agent Boost Marketing, and you're the regional vice president for them. You're pretty much taking care of the Western United States, if I'm not mistaken, or a lot of those different areas. And one of the reasons we wanted to bring you on here is that Medicare season's, right around the corner, and there is a lot going on. You've got the Inflation Reduction Act. You've got the changes in the Part D with the basically getting rid of the donut hole. You've got a lot of these other things going on. You've got different insurance companies actually picking up and leaving entire markets. And as a result of this, I've said this before, but it's kind of the wild, wild west this year. So what's going on out there, and what do agents that are, in Medicare, what should they expect, or what kind of give us what your thoughts are as you're working with your agents?
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. Yeah, so this year, I can say I've been in the business 13 years. And every year, Medicare comes back or CMS comes back to us and says, hey, here's some changes, scope's got to be 48 hours, scope doesn't have to be 48 hours, this, that, or the other, and this year has just been absolutely pandemonium. It's been crazy. And, it's been a battle with CMS for all summer long, this back and forth stuff, Like you had mentioned, I came from a carrier, Aetna, and we went back and forth with, okay, we can help agents with marketing now. And then CMS came back and said, no, you can't help them anymore. We're going to pay them an extra on each enrollment, and that takes care of that, and carriers can no longer pay out extra money. And then that got put to a stay, and it's been back and forth. There's still things that are up in the air to this day that are causing agents to kind of go, what can I do? What can I do? But, this Inflation Reduction Act is just caused all sorts of madness in the fact that, like you said, there's a lot of SAR opportunities this year across the nation, and I'll just talk about my own backyard in Idaho here. We have 3 major carriers pulling out of the whole entire state of Idaho.
1 second, I'm going to interrupt you real quick, Michael. SAR, tell them what that is, in case they're not familiar with the acronym, please.
Yeah, good. That's a service area reduction. So whether that be a county or in this case a whole state, but yeah, it's you have Aetna that's pulled out of Idaho, you have Molina that's pulled their regular MAPD out of Idaho, they're still here for DSNP, and then you have Select Health who's pulled out of every county except for one county in eastern Idaho. And so this year you have, I would say, 20,000 members alone in Idaho that are going to be without a plan come October 1st. So there's a lot of opportunity for agents, especially newer agents, to go out and build a book of business this year.
I think agents need to be on top of these things. And you're right. That's a big part of the reason why I don't write Medicare anymore was because of CMS. And that's just the truth, right? There's so many changes, and it is our job as agents to be up to date on those changes, because guess what agents are about to do in the next 3 months? They're about to go into people's homes. They're about to talk to people on the phone, and they need to be prepared for what's going on. So A, they don't get in trouble, and B, that they can give their client the correct information. But having carriers pull out of an area, that's a big deal. So you have to go through your client list, is already on that carrier. That's who I need to visit first. So people are having some heartburn over it, as they should be. CMS, they try to do they try their best to keep everything even keeled, right? I mean, they're trying to reduce fraud. At the end of the day, that's what they're trying to do, is they're trying to reduce fraud. So that's our job as good agents, to understand what they're trying to implement and then move forward and put that into our business so that our clients are well taken care of. But also, what a great opportunity to cross-sell, right? If you're going into a home because one of the carriers have pulled out, great. Well, maybe you haven't been in that home or that situation, going through your fact-finding process, and all of a sudden, hey, my mom died and I have an inheritance now what? Right? So that gives you the opportunity, but it's good to pay attention to what carriers are doing what in the area, and how can I help my client, and how can I create opportunities elsewhere. So Michael, give the new agent some advice. If they're going into this AEP, what do they need to have in their tool belt to be successful?
Yeah, and I think you nailed it, Kylie. I think that cross sell is a big opportunity. Not only are these members needing their Medicare plans redone, but there's also a lot of opportunities for indemnity products, annuity products, life products. And the beauty, of this is it is literally forcing agents to meet with pretty much every single one of their members this year. In years past, a lot of agents would send out an email, they'd make a phone call, they would send out a newsletter and say, hey, not a lot of things have changed this year with the plans. If your medications, your providers, your health hasn't really changed, I think you can stay where you're at, which was nice for agents because it was a great way to push aside that book of business and say they're taken care of and go work on new business. But now, especially agents who have been in the business for a long time, have thousands of clients. I know an agent up north. I just went to lunch with him, who has 1,000 members he has to move this annual enrollment period, which is just absolutely crazy. Yeah, but somehow, some way, compliantly, these agents have to sit down with every one of those members because, prescription drug costs are changing. You have to explain to them this new Inflation Reduction Act and the $2,000, max out of pocket. I mean, there's just so much going on that it's making it very difficult for agents, to handle the book that they have now. But when they go in that home, it's very important that they do that fact finding. They find those other opportunities. Now may not be the best time to start the conversations for hospital indemnities and annuities, just because they have so many households to get to. But having that information and being able to go back after the annual enrollment period is over and say, hey, last time I was there, we talked about, your financial situation and taking the conversation from there.
One of the things here that you just swerved into that I'd never even thought about is that one of the beautiful things about our business, that people go into the insurance business and they stay in the insurance business for the residuals and the reoccurring income. If you've got 1,000 clients and you are that are on Medicare Advantage plans, and let's just say you get a monthly comp of $25 a month on that, $20 a month, whatever it might be, and you have to replace 1,000 of them. Great, go through, do that. You're going to get a large check in January for replacing them and putting them on new plans, but your month-to-month residuals are going to be decimated. And the thing about it is, and especially with the, what was the acronym for SAR again? I'm sorry, what did that mean? The
Service area reduction.
Surface area reduction. So if you've got a bunch of people in one of those plans that you tended to like, and I mean, we tend to lean towards one company or another, their plans ebb and flow, and you have to go through and replace all of those, or you are not quite as quick as the guy down the road and they replace a bunch of your policies on you, that could be a huge hit on your paycheck. And even if, whether you want it or not, you get to a certain level, you're going to have to start budgeting, and this is going to create a whole bunch of problems for agents that they probably hadn't even thought about yet.
Yeah, and this, we've we've seen this coming, for gosh, probably since June, even May, like little bits of this starting to happen, and I've strongly been encouraging agents that I talk to, like, you need to be reaching out to your members now, because if you don't, that's exactly what's going to happen. You're going to lose a lot of your book of business, because ANOC letters have probably, what's today, the 25th. So ANOC letters have probably already gone out because they have to go out before the 1st, but not.
Acronym, what is an ANOC letter, so in case
So,
people aren't aware.
yes, good. So annual notice of changes. So
Okay.
that's that letter that your members are going to get with basically all the highlights of what's changing on your plan. Thankfully, this year it's not as bad as what we were all expecting, but there's a lot of members who are going to wake up to a letter, an ANOC letter, that's all bad news. And they're not going to know that a lot of carriers are going to be similar, so they're going to pick up the phone and they're going to call. So if you don't have that relationship with your member already and you haven't touched base with them in a while and they don't remember who you are, they're going to be calling their friends or they're going to be calling the company. But bottom line is you're going to end up losing your members. So it is very, very important. You're definitely behind the 8 ball as it is now, but it's very important that if you haven't reached out to most of your members to let them know you'll be in touch with them and they're going to be getting an ANOC letter that's probably not going to be favorable, you need to get on the phones right after this podcast and start making dials.
You can also see that as the changes as an opportunity, right? It's all about how we adjust and how we react to them. So if you're going to be like me and just have a crappy attitude, then you're not going to service all of your clients and then your Medicare business will go down the drain. And that's just the reality of it. But if you see these changes as an opportunity for you to see these people again and get into their homes, have different conversations, you're no longer just their Medicare gal or their Medicare guy, but you're an asset protector. And you go in with that mindset, you can change people's lives. And if you're rewriting hundreds of your clients, you might not have the opportunity or the time to have an annuity conversation or a life conversation right then and there. So I hate to say, okay, well, let's visit again in January, but sometimes you don't have a choice, right? Sometimes you need to say, hey, the reality is I have hundreds of clients and only, I don't know, it's less than 90 days to switch all of them. That's a lot. That's a lot of pressure. So let's get you moved over. Let's get you comfortable here, and then we'll take care of your inheritance in January. It gives that opportunity to fill up OEP as well, to say, okay, I took care of AEP. I've got you switched over, and now I'll take care of you again in January, and we can talk about your life insurance or your annuity opportunities or whatever that is. But I think it's important to have some perspective. You can take this and you can kick rocks and say, this is crappy. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. And why are they trying to make my life hard? Which is all true, right? It does affect you. It is crappy. It does suck. But we're not in 5th grade anymore and we can do hard things. So you can change that. You can change your mindset and say, all right, well, I've had a couple carriers leave. I've had the donut hole situation. CMS has changed this. I got to do this. Let's do it. And you just, and you go out and you serve your people and you have a positive attitude and your business will grow. You won't lose clients. You'll actually gain some. It's all about perspective. So if you're going in with a negative attitude with AEP, just expect to get nothing out of it. But if you go and you say, hey, this is an opportunity for me to seize the bigger fish, then do it all day. That's what otherwise you're just wasting your time. Let's be honest. I'm just like, it's been a long day. I guess you're getting the most raw version of myself. But if you don't do things, you're just going to stay there. You can say all day like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this, this, and this. And then if you don't do it, you're going to be in the same place you were yesterday. So you can complain all day and you can moan into your office and to your colleagues like, this sucks. Been there. I can tell you, I've said it. 3 AEPs ago. This sucks. I'm quitting. I've quit every day for 3 years now. So just keep going. You'll be fine. But it's all about perspective and having that you have to have a mind shift, especially right now, because he's right. If you haven't done it, you're late. You're late to the game, but you're not late to life. So get on the phones right now, go talk to your people, and make some changes that are going to help them and help you.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. And the I guess I would call it the fortunate part of this is going to weed out a lot of fly by the night agents
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
who have just thought I'm going to make some quick money and not service my clients, which you want my humble opinion, I think that's great to weed those out every once in a while,
Yeah.
because these seniors are fragile people and they need an advisor that's going to be around. But to your point of the coming in with an attitude, like this is a very easy year to just put your head in the sand and be like, I can't deal with this, because on top of all the service area reductions, I haven't even talked about like the whole PDP, the standalone prescription drug plan mess that's going on right now. You have companies now that are no longer paying for agents to write prescription drug plans. Let's take, for example, the big one that everybody's pissed off at right now, which is WellCare.
Mm-hmm.
WellCare has now released information that they're no longer going to pay commissions for 2025 business going forward. But not only that, they're not going to pay renewals for any business you've written with them prior. So,
Really?
Oh
right.
yeah.
So you have agents who have written thousands of PDPs and, could be making a couple $1,000s a month in renewals that are just going to
Yeah.
stop with WellCare. Well, part of that problem is the financial side of it, right, for the agent. But a lot of those households where there's written PDPs, they also have a Medicare supplement in that household
Mm-hmm.
with that member. And so it's very easy for a member to say, well, I'm not getting paid, so that's just one person less off my list I got to go talk to. But they still have to have that relationship because they're servicing a Medicare supplement in there. And so it puts the agent in a hard spot because it's like, I really, really want to help you, but I'm also not getting paid, and I have 500 other members who I am getting paid on who also need my help.
I will say to that point, Michael, that is short-sighted as an agent. If you are visiting people with a Medicare supplement, 9 times out of 10, they have some assets. And before you went in as just a Medicare person, that's your opportunity to cross-sell. We do this all the time in our classes, right? You say, oh, I'm here for Medicare. I'm going to help you with Medicare, and then you leave. Well, you do more than just help with Medicare. That's a perfect opportunity to reintroduce yourself. I work in a few different areas when it comes into retirement, Medicare, long-term, short-term care, financial services, asset protection. You have different conversations. And I was talking to a gentleman. I went to a conference a few weeks ago, and he was saying exactly that. Well, what's the incentive? They took away the money that I'm going to make from writing these PDB plans, and I'm done. I'm not going to write them anymore. Okay, well, if you don't write them anymore, you're not talking to that client anymore. You're not going into that home. You've just totally nipped yourself in the butt with that opportunity. You're not going to tell them that you do more than just Medicare anymore because you chose, I'm not getting paid the $28 for a PDB plan or whatever it is, right? Think bigger. Okay, well, I don't actually see this client very often. Maybe things have changed. They're a med sup. I'm going to go in and I'm going to see. And then you create an opportunity. So I think if you're an agent and you're going into Medicare and you're feeling like this sucks, you need to have a mind shift change ASAP. Because this can also be a beautiful opportunity. He's right. Does it suck? Yes. Gosh dang it. Now I can't make money. All my residuals are gone. You can send yourself into a spiral of negativity. So choose not to. Choose to hear Michael, to hear what he's saying. There are choices to be made. There are changes that have to be made, regardless if it's going to be you or somebody else. So let it be you.
Right. And, to 2 points to that is you're exactly right. There's an opportunity financially, if you go in there and sell other products. But also, too, the bottom line, and most importantly, is you can't just leave those members without an advisor. And that's what it boils down to is like we work for our members, right? And you can't just say, well, I'm not getting paid, so I'm not going to service my member. So that's not fair to the member just to leave them orphaned because you're
Now, the
not
thing
going to.
about it is I'm taking a different take on this than you guys both are. And that is, if we look at it, AEP is 7 weeks long. All right, so 7 weeks. If you work 10 hours a day, so 10 appointments, 6 days a week, that's 420 opportunities you have during AEP. Most agents out there don't have 500 or 1,000 clients. They've got 50, 100, 150, significantly less than that. For me as a new agent, for me as a smaller agent, I would be looking this as a feeding frenzy. I'm like, that guy can't get to them all. These guys are there. This is an opportunity for me to go out there and to build my book up in a huge way. If I was a part-time agent, this is the year for me to quit going part-time. I'm not going to do Uber at night anymore. I'm going to be an insurance agent, and I'm going to go off and do my thing. And what it would be really great is if you could have those surface area reduction, those SAR lists. Is there's a list, all right, of all the Humana or the Select Health or whatever the companies are that are leaving. I would
They
pay
exist.
big dollars for that list if there is a way to get them. And man, I would be right now beating on their door. Your plan's going away. I'm your guy. I'll be back on April 15th at 9 o'clock. I'll be at your neighbors at 9:30. I'll be at theirs at 10. I mean, just work your way down the block. I mean, compliantly and all those things. I'm being, very. There's an opportunity here because that guy up north, physically impossible for him to get to 1,000 people unless he is literally working 15, 20 hours a day, 7 days a week, and that means that all of the people he'd normally contact, he's not going to get to. So this is an opportunity for a new agent right now, like we haven't seen in a decade.
And that's what I was kind of saying in the beginning. It's unfortunate for agents who have been in the business for a long time because now they're playing defense, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they're doing. All AEP is just defending their book, and new agents are like, "Bring it! I'm ready.
Yep.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
I've got all the time in the world." And to your point, like doing the math about the certain amount of meetings you can get to working 6-7 days a week. Thankfully, service area reduction members have an extra 2 months extended, from their
Nice.
AEP, so they have until the end of February to make a change. So there's agents, if they do it correctly, they can get to all their normal people and push some of those off until till the end. But it's still not long enough for 1,000 members.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, no.
So
And the thing about it is that even if they've got their little letter saying you've got an extra 2 months, they don't know that. It's not internalized. They're thinking I have until December 7th, and then
Yep.
I'm locked into. I don't have a plan. I need to get a plan. So, just once again, you have to. If they're not contacting their agents now, the agents aren't contacting their clients now. It's going to be a mess. It's going to be. Now, are those lists available? I don't know. I'm not a Medicare guy anymore. Do they provide them? Can you buy them? Can you?
I mean, it's the World Wide Web, right? And we can get
Yeah.
lists for about anything. I'm sure they're probably out there somewhere. They've leaked out there somewhere. I very much doubt that it's like a list that you can just go on and purchase. But a lot of those carriers, from my understanding, are starting to send out at least like the orphaned clients, right? The people who don't have an agent attached to them, or the member has gone online and enrolled in the plan. They're sending those out to agents and agencies to make sure they have a touch point. So a lot of big agencies are getting some of those clients, but I mean they obviously can't send out all their clients because you'd be sending other people's clients to other people. But as far as the orphans and that, which is a great thing I think for a carrier to do. So because as you guys know, most people don't read their mail, so you can send them all the letters and all day long about how stuff is ending and changing, and a month later they go, well, I didn't receive any documentation on that. I throw all my Medicare mail away. Every time I get something from the company, it's like, well, here's the thing. If let's just say your company you choose to do your healthcare with is United Healthcare, you should be opening all your United Healthcare mail no matter what. Like, the other companies, go ahead and toss it. It's probably junk. But you should be opening your carrier specific mail every time. So, but
Absolutely.
unfortunately, carriers can get away with saying we mailed 3 times and no response, and so their plan's gone. You know. So
Sad.
Which I have
Sad.
seen that happen. I have seen that happen real life. So that does happen. So agents, take care of your people. New agents, good luck. I mean, this is a time to really spread your wings and get busy. I mean, that's what it's going to be. That's what it's going to take to help service all of these people with new plans coming out and things changing. So,
yeah,
uh,
if you want to keep your book of business and your financial piece of where you're at, like you're gonna put in some hours this AEP. It's just there's no no other way around it.
you
Yeah.
heard it here first from Michael Beam himself. If you're going to do it well, do it right. Thank you so much, Michael, for joining us. Ryan, do you have any last thoughts before we let him go?
No, Michael, it's always a pleasure visiting with you. Again, just thanks for taking the time and letting us know about this. This is important stuff for agents out there, and we hate to see people's careers get set back simply because they didn't have the information.
Absolutely, yeah, and thank you for having me. I could go on for hours about all this fun stuff, just going back and forth with you guys. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to doing some more with you guys.
Absolutely. Thank you so
Likewise.
much, Michael. And if you have questions, if you're an agent out there and you're looking to go from health to wealth, drop a comment below, get a hold of us. We can help you. We can steer you in the direction of Michael if you're a local to the Pacific Northwest. I'm sure he would love to help you. But thanks again for joining us at Annuity Fundamentals, and we will see you next time. Thank you.